Hello, my friends. How are you today? My friends out there in the internet lands, on the internets of the internets, because of the internets? I don't know if that's real. If you do a real deep dive on that, you can think of people who are here because of the internet. Anyway, welcome to You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about Milwaukee theater things. My name is Jaimelyn Gray. I am the person behind this program. Thank you so much for joining me on this little adventure weekly to let you know what's going on with things in the Milwaukee theater community. It is the week of, oh geez, I mean, our weeks are different here in Theaterland, right? So it is Thursday, March 13th here now. So that's where we're at in this universe. I just have a couple of things to go over with you real quick, and then we'll get into the interview with Mr. Michael Unger. Mr. Michael Unger is back to talk to us about a new work. We do like the new work around here. Keep the new works coming. And we will get to that shortly, but I just want to go over a few things that we've got coming up here. First of all, we do have Every Brilliant Thing over at Skylight. And this is, listen to me now, listen to me here. It is closing this weekend. This is the last weekend for Every Brilliant Thing. So if you have not gotten in there, and I am ashamed to say I am one of those people who has not been able to get in there yet, but I'm going to squeeze it in this week. I'm wanting to squeeze it in either Friday or Saturday. I'm gonna get over there, and you'll see my face over there one of those days. I think that everybody who has gone to see the show is just really impacted by it. It's a show about the profound impacts. See what I did there? Of simple pleasures. And it goes back and forth between these two performers here, Elise Edelman and James Carrington. They go back and forth with their duties and in performing the show. I think Elise is on Friday this week is what I heard. So that I think that would mean that James is on Saturday. If you're I mean, I always encourage you to see more theater. So maybe you can see one of them one night and see one of them another night. That would be super fun. But just make sure that you get in there this weekend because it will be gone. Then you can go to Milwaukee Chamber Theatre. That's a TRE.org to get your tickets for Every Brilliant Thing at Milwaukee Chamber Theater. And this is at the Milwaukee Youth Arts Center. This isn't at normally, where they perform is they normally are at the Broadway Theater Center, but they are not there right now. They are at the Milwaukee Youth Arts Center. So all that information you can find at MilwaukeeChamberTheatre.org to get your information on that. Next, we have Interchange Theater Co-op. You're one of the great sources in Milwaukee for improv, the improv art. And they, as I always say, they are super busy all the time. They've got so much going on at the Interchange. This week they have what they're calling it's a group Stein Improv, and it's a Goosebumps themed comedy show that's on Friday, and then Commando featuring Fractal is on Saturday. Both of those are at 7 p.m. they, like I said, they're busy. So the best place that you're going to be able to find what's going on with them is Interchange Theater. That's a TER.com, and go and see some improv. The Interchange is in the basement of the Big Red Church there. If you're driving through the downtown, you cannot miss the Big Red Church. That's Calvary Presbyterian. And that theater used to be In Tandem when In Tandem was here in town. Now it's taken over by the Interchange Theater Co-op. It's a great little space. If you have never been there, we performed out of there a couple seasons ago. It's a really great little space down there it's a quasi basement, because you can get to you can access it off of the street. But if you're actually in Calvary Presbyterian, then it's in the basement. It's because it's on a hill, and that's how hills work. And so go over to interchangetheater.com, check out what they have this weekend. If you're into that thing, maybe go and see Every Brilliant Thing, and then go and get yourself some improv and an improv show at Interchange Theater Co-op, and that's super fun for that. And then we're a little light on things. I know a lot of companies are flipping over, like Next Act and Renaissance. They share a space, and so they're flipping over right now from what was my brain. You guys, I cannot. My brain is very, very, very sad. But they're switching over from the Next Act show and going into Renaissance Buyer and Seller. I'm actually going to have Lisa Rasmussen Moldenhauer on next week to Moldenhauer Rasmussen. Next week to talk about buyer and seller, and so that should be super fun. So we'll have her on next week to talk about that. But I should say, or I do want to say, that it is Women's History Month. Respect the women in your life. We are just over well, if you're working on the binary, 50% of the population. Women's History began as a local celebration in Santa Rosa, California, and that was back in 1978. I think the best place that you can go right now to look up some things is womenshistory.org. Is a good, all those historical websites are good places to find and figure out what's going on. You can check that out, womenshistory.org. Like I said, just give a woman a hug today, with consent, of course. Consent is very important. Make sure you ask permission first before you're hugging your people. Is what I can say about that. So Women's History Month goes all the way through March, and that's what we have for a monthly celebration. And then it shared this last week. I'm sharing it again. I'm going to try and find some other artists in the community that I can, from likely over from a Pink Umbrella theater company, to talk about what wonderful artists we have in the community with developmental disabilities. It is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. That picture right there is of my own child, Aurora. She was born with a partial trisomy of the 16th chromosome, and that has caused some developmental delays. She's also hearing impaired, but she is cute as a button. She's a charmer. Everybody says so. Talk to anybody about Aurora, and they will tell you that she is something else. I tell you, cutie patootie. But it was established in this month was established in 1987 by President Ronald Reagan. So it's just a time to raise awareness about developmental disabilities, and then celebrate the achievements of people with disabilities, but also, very important, advocate for their rights and needs. Right now, I myself have been calling my representatives a bit lately, because we've got a little bit of a challenge with Medicaid happening. Aurora does, what's the word I can use? I'm trying to think of the best word to use. She does live a fulfilling existence because of Medicaid. She hangs out with her peers. Aurora is somebody who requires 24-hour care. She needs people to watch and observe her and make sure for her safety that she's in the places that she needs to be, 24 hours a day. And that requires a lot of financial assistance. She's an adult, but she doesn't, she can't work. She doesn't have the, at this moment in time, she doesn't have the capacity to do what, what people would require, to have her do for a paycheck. And so Medicaid is one of those things that helps her do that. I just say it because there's a lot of artists in the community who also are on Medicaid and who are benefiting from, the safety and living a full life because of Medicaid. And I'm gonna get some artists in here, try and get them next week to update you on some artists that are working with that fight for Medicaid. So that's what we have for this week as far as weekly and monthly celebrations, weekly events and monthly celebrations. So I hope you go out and see some of this. Or what you can go and see is what we're going to talk about next with Mr. Michael Unger, To Catch a Thief, the musical. It's a new work. This is a staged concert reading for new work, and so it's 2 days only. And Michael Unger will talk about that right now. And with me today, again, because he is the most awesome artist to talk to me about things, and I appreciate it, and it fills me with joy. Mr. Michael Unger, artistic director of Skylight Music Theater.
You're embarrassing me,
Good friend.
Jaimelyn.
Oh, I love it so much.
Thank you.
It just puts a smile on my face.
I appreciate you very much, and spreading the word about the theater in Milwaukee is a great mission.
It brings me joy. It brings me joy to introduce people to all the work that's out there, of which Skylight makes some good things happen, and you're making a new thing happen, which is why I wanted to get you on to talk about it. Tell me about this To Catch a Thief.
So this is kind of a last-minute entry. It fell into our laps kind of fast and not too long ago, but I'm thrilled that it has. My very dear friend from summer stock in 1983.
Oh, yeah!
Peter Sham is the book writer and lyricist for this show. And so when you do summer stock right out of college, sometimes you meet people who stick with you for the rest of your life, whether you see them frequently or not. Peter Sham was one of them. And one of Peter Sham's claim to fame in my life is that he would try and crack me up on stage every single night.
Oh.
Like break character and laugh. Yeah. And he succeeded every single night.
Nice.
He is one of the funniest guys in the universe. And we've certainly stayed in touch, but I have not been in the room with him for many, 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 many years. And I'm thrilled to be back in the room with him. So he is partnered with an Australian composer named Kevin Purcell, and they've written the world premiere musical version of To Catch a Thief based on the novel from 1952 by David Dodge, made, of course, famous by the Hitchcock film in 1955.
Yes.
But this musical is based on the novel, not the film.
Okay.
But the story is the same, of course. Cary Grant, Grace Kelly, a beautiful film, fantastic sort of comedy, suspense, romance, flick, and the book is the same, and this musical is also the same. And we had sort of some space in our calendar, which we left open to do special events that might come along last minute. So not one of the shows we planned from a year ago. And I was talking to Peter and Kevin about this piece, and I said, we happen to have this slot in this moment, and it was a perfect timing for Peter, who teaches at Southern Utah University, I think, and we had some spring break from him, and Kevin was off from his conducting assignments in Australia. So actually, Kevin's flying from Australia right now, and Peter's coming in from Utah. They'll be here the whole time, and it is a huge cast of mostly locals, 95% locals, 28 actors.
Holy crap.
This is at the same time we have 17 actors in Sister Act. And this, the first week of rehearsal for TCAT, To Catch the Thief, overlaps the last run of Frankenstein, the last week of the run of Frankenstein. And the second weekend performances of To Catch the Thief overlaps the first week of rehearsals of Sister Act. So we will have this building busting at the seams.
Crazy.
It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited, but it will be chock-a-block full of artists and music and rehearsals and instruments and people and costumes flying, and it's gonna be great.
You all are nuts. That is nuts.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
So excited. I can't wait.
I looked at the page and I was like, Peter Sham. Where do I know that name from?
Well, he did write the musical of Lend Me a Tenor, which played in the West End for a bit. Really funny show.
I did that play.
Yeah, right. This is the musical version, and instead of Otello, it is Pagliacci.
Because I went to Southern Utah University for a hot second.
Really?
In the late 90s. I don't think he was teaching there then.
I think it was at Utah Shakes around then. So he knows Ali Babbage from Utah Shakes.
When I was there. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he'll be here he'll be here in a week, so you come say hi.
No, he doesn't know me. I know him. He doesn't know me. That's one of those.
He'll pretend he knows you.
I was one of those lowly peon wenches dressed in, Renaissance garb corset things, trying to sell candy to people. I wasn't anybody special. Still not anybody.
I would never say that about you, Jaimelyn. So just stop that right now. Anyway, come say hi to Peter, regardless if he remembers you or not.
I know him from the Utah. Yeah.
Now, also very exciting. So the reading is presenting on the 14th and 15th of March at 7:30. But at 7 o'clock on the 14th, we are announcing our 25-26 season.
Yes, you are.
And at 7 o'clock on the 15th, we have the granddaughter of David Dodge, who wrote the novel, doing a panel.
That's awesome.
With the writers. And rewind to March 10th, Milwaukee Film Festival is going to show the movie To Catch a Thief, and we'll have a talk back afterwards with myself and the composer and the book writer lyricist. That's at Milwaukee Film at the Oriental.
That's so cool. That is some cool SHIT there. That's what that is.
Yeah, it's gonna be really chock full of stuff and exciting and busy.
Yeah, that's super fun. That's I'm just that's the bee's knees. That's a very cool set of local art that you can taste there.
And also, speaking of local artists, we do a lot of video auditioning just because of the world that we're in.
Yeah.
And obviously, with Kevin in Australia and Peter in Utah, we had to rely on virtual auditions and videos. And they were so impressed with the local talent, which is not surprising to me. But often people, I think people are surprised at the density of talent in Milwaukee and what happens here on such a high level. Because you may not hear about it every day. But when we bring in artists like Tim Rice and Dennis DeYoung and Kevin and Peter, we help, and Tim, we spread the word about these things to the world. So anyway, I'm excited about showing off so much of the local talent.
Yeah, that's great. And it's very cool. Again, just like what we were talking about, a little while ago about Frankenstein and new work, just the whole, the ability to produce new work and have local artists work with all this new work is so cool. That Skylights that you guys are doing that. That's so cool.
Yeah, like we're putting our stamp and our footprint and fingerprints on lots of work that's going to travel from here to other places. It's already happened. It's happening. Super U started here, and we worked on Tim Rice's show here, Dennis's piece. Julian Romeo had many changes as a result of the production here that are now in that script forever, and the same will be true here. Frankenstein also. So
putting Skylight and Milwaukee in the book.
There you go.
It's happening. So, but people can go to the smtmke.org to get tickets. Is it a paid thing? Is it a free thing?
Yeah, it's not a free thing. It's a paid thing, but it's very inexpensive. I'm not going to misquote the price, but it's not much at all. It is a staged reading, lightly staged reading, so mostly a concert, but really focusing on the music and the words. Which is very, you're on the ground floor. You can see something no one has ever seen before.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really cool couple of nights.
And what days are those again?
March 14th and 15th.
That's
7:30 p.m. But come at 7 for the two special events: the season announcement on the 14th and the granddaughter of David Dodge, the novelist, on the 15th.
That's awesome. Are you streaming the season announcement too?
I think we are. That's a great question. I believe we are. Yes.
Okay.
Let's make that happen. Yeah, but not the reading.
No. But the season announcement is one that I think more people than just the people that are there would like to.
True. Yeah, we did that with the Tim Rice concert where we logged in for the announcement and then logged off when we started the second act of the concert.
Do you have any little intel things that you can?
I have lots of intel because I know the whole season.
I know you know. Can you generalize? Do you have any world premieres in there? Midwest premieres?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We also have some very exciting collaborations with local organizations that are really incredible.
Great.
But you'll find that all out on March 14th.
Do you have some small things and some big things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they're big titles, and I think there's a good balance of material, kind of like this season. I love to find a balance to keep our audiences entertained and thinking and laughing and crying sometimes.
Yeah, that is
all the feels.
All the feels is what theater is all about, and it's bring it. It's what I live for. Well, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
The 14th and 15th, I think I'm in rehearsal, so I don't think that I can, because I love new shit. So I would highly encourage people to go and see it. It really is a different experience. It really is a very cool thing to start seeing things at the ground level like that. It's very cool. If you've never experienced it before, you should go.
And this is very important to know also. A new work, exciting to work on, but the authors need this kind of work to learn from the piece what it needs.
Yeah.
So the changes that happen in Frankenstein are because the authors were here and zooming in and heard the piece a certain way and made changes because of that. So when the authors come into town to work on the piece, it's really, a lot of it is about learning what the piece needs to move forward.
Yeah.
And that comes from our artists working on the show at Skylight. And making those things, revealing those things. That's really a very exciting part of the process.
Yes. Yeah. It's a cool collaboration work effort. Yeah. All right, my friends. Thanks you so much for all of your time. And again, smtmke.org for all of your Skylight intel. And we'll see you another time.
All right.
All right. There you go. There you have it. To Catch a Thief, the musical. Is that tonight and tomorrow? I forget. No, it's tomorrow and Saturday. But then also, yes, their season announcement is coming up. I'm very excited. I'm always interested to see what Skylight is doing each season. Mr. Unger has done a really great job of balancing the old and the new, and doing old favorites and making new work happen. So that's very exciting. But that's what we have for that interview this week. Like I said, I'm going to get Renaissance Theater Works in here next week to talk about buyer and seller. And so I hope you can join me then. And that's what we got. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you or talk at you next week on You've Got a Thing.